Hello, and welcome back to Recap Stories. Today we're looking at the post-apocalyptic sci-fi thriller, A Boy and His Dog. I hope you enjoy the video, and spoilers ahead. It's 2024, and the planet is a nuclear wasteland after the events of World War IV. Vic, a survivor of the war, hears a woman screaming and in clear distress. He jumps a man, knocking him out with the butt of his rifle. Gunshots can be heard as three men leave a crater. A voice tells him to hold, as there's a fourth. It was his dog Blood, who was surveying the area. The two share a telepathic bond. Vic is warned not to go to the woman as the raiders left an awful mess, but it won't stop him. He heads inside and finds the woman, stripped naked and cut up pretty badly. Vic tells Blood they didn't need to cut her as she could have been used 2 or 3 more times. Blood is being used to find women as getting laid seems to be all that's on Vic's mind. Vic is a cold, heartless man, and Blood knows it. Gunshots in the distance as a group of raiders attack and murder a man. With no women in sight, the two head off. Blood is the brains of the operation. We find out World War IV only lasted 5 days, long enough to see the last missiles leave the silos on both sides. All that's left is a decaying civilization. They're searching for a place called Over the Hill, an area unaffected by the nuclear fallout. In the meantime, though, Vic just wants food and women. Blood won't search for a woman, however, unless Vic finds food, which angers him quite a bit. We see a slaver caravan in the desert. They're being forced to dig a hole and another forced to play guitar. Cans of food are recovered from the buried buildings below the earth. Vic rushes over and grabs some of the food. A slave fires at him, but he shoots back, killing the man. They run off with their stolen score. The slaver laughs as he's amused by the brazen thievery. 3 people are seen keeping a close eye on Vic. They arrive at a camp and all weaponry has to be kept locked up to prevent any trouble. Vic nearly loses it as his rifle is placed underwater, which could cause it to rust quick. They trade some food in order to enter. It's a movie theater. They're showing some 16mm prints of old adult films. Blood asks how can you watch this without popcorn, as Vic refuses to buy him some. Blood senses a female and Vic is looking around. Vic compliments Blood on his intelligence and Blood tells him exactly which one is the woman. The woman leaves and Vic eyes her like a creep. They're leaving the movie. Vic grabs his weapons and a little popcorn for Blood. Blood tells him the woman headed to the right. Vic pursues her with the worst of intentions. They come to a bunker and Vic is worried because that's where the screamers come from. Blood tells him she's alone right now. Vic asks how he's supposed to nail her in there, and Blood tells him to stop shaking like a leaf and go do it. Vic sneaks around the compound looking for his victim. He comes to a door. Peering through, he sees her naked, brushing her hair and getting dressed. He sneaks in, grabbing her and throwing her down. Vic grabs a mat, telling her not to try anything. The woman is on the mat and asks him his name. He tells her, then tells her to remove her clothing. Vic reluctantly asks her name, Quilla June Holmes, which he calls unusual. Blood comes in and tells Vic a rover gang is here and they're looking for the girl. They don't know Vic and Blood are there and only want the woman. Vic wants to fight them off and Blood wants to give up the girl. Vic heads out and Quilla starts talking to Blood like how most people would, as she can't speak telepathically with him. He barks at her, saying shut up. Vic peers out the bunker, seeing all the men. He heads back to Blood, preparing to fight. The gang is cautious of the bunker as well, as they too fear the screamers. Vic is on a basketball net and kills a couple of them. Blood lunges and attacks one. He kills him and takes his gun. Quilla takes the gun from Blood. They're outnumbered and outgunned. Blood asks what they would do if they heard a screamer right now. Vic makes a loud moaning noise and the men start to freak out. Blood fights with one of their dogs while Vic is shooting all the men. A man sneaks up behind Vic and just as he's about to shoot, Quilla kills him with her rifle. Vic rushes over and bashes the dog, attacking Blood. The gang has left and Vic is elated. Blood was hurt in the battle, but he'll live. Actual screamers are heard coming and the 3 of them take off. They find a hole in the wall full of mattresses, hiding in there away from the screamers. Quilla kisses Vic and they start to get a little busy. Blood turns around saying, breeding is an ugly thing. This goes on for some time and Blood tells him he's not going to pretend he's asleep for much longer. Blood heads off to check if the screamers are gone and he's still pretty banged up. Quilla is from a place called Down Under. She wants Vic to join her, saying Blood could visit every now and then. Vic is upset and says they're not going. They can make it above ground, the 3 of them. Blood gets back and tells Vic they need to talk. He says they need to get rid of the woman and get out of here before the screamers return. Vic tells him he wants to bring the girl and Blood goes off, saying they can barely take care of each other right now. The 2 are at odds, but Blood reluctantly gives in. Vic heads back and Quilla smacks him in the head. Blood is making fun of Vic as she took off while he was out. Vic grabs his supplies and heads off after her with Blood behind protesting. Vic wants to go to the Down Under, and Blood tells him if he does, he'll never come back out. Blood thinks the whole thing has been too suspicious and she could be setting him up. They find a metal door leading to the Down Under. Blood tells Vic he's afraid he won't come back and he'll have to find someone else to take him on. He says he'll miss him. Vic says he'll be back as quick as he can. Blood will only wait so long, then he's heading to Over the Hill. Vic says says his goodbyes and Blood is hurt. He heads down into the vault. Down under. Walking down a long white hallway, he comes upon a room with a speaker playing animal noises. It looks to be a graveyard full of headstones. He's choked out by someone and we cut to him in a bathtub being washed. Some strange people surrounding him wearing odd makeup while he's forcefully cleaned. There's a full-on parade going on. People are enjoying fresh fruit and vegetables. Vic has some new fresh clothes on and he's being shown around. A couple are at a hearing and they've failed to comply with the committee that runs the Down Under and are being sent to the farm where people are never heard from again. Quilla arrives and sits on the lap of Luke Craddock, one of the members. She went to the surface to get Vic so she could become a member, and she doesn't want to wait. The committee sends her away and says she's going to be trouble. They plan on marrying her off, and if she doesn't want to, well, then she's headed to the farm. The only reason Quilla went along with their plan was because she wanted in on the committee, and she's upset. A man named Gary tells her to play along or they'll send her to the farm. She says she'll do whatever she has to, but not for much longer. Vic is brought before the committee and they start talking about his physical and mental attributes. He starts giving them attitude and Lou tells him to behave himself. Vic has been studied for some time and he's going to be the recipient of an honor that comes about once a decade. They've been underground for too long and are unable to get their women pregnant. They need a new man, some new blood to do it. To say he's excited is an understatement. A preacher is marrying a woman and we see Vic, who is strapped to a bed, having his, seed extracted into vials. I don't think this is what he signed up for. The bride heads into a hallway and we see all the other women lined up and waiting to get married. Quilla is up next. She's asked where her parents are and she says they may have come down with something before attacking the preacher and doctor. Quilla frees Vic, but he's pissed and does not trust her. He grabs a pry bar Quilla had hidden in her flowers. Quilla wants Vic to kill the committee so they can take over. Vic wants his guns, and Quilla tells him they're in the committee office. They fight their way out with the help of some of Quilla's friends. Vic grabs his weapons from the office and they rush out. He's heading to the exit because he wants to see Blood again. Quilla begs for his help, then pulls a gun on him. He hits her and takes off with her still pleading. The committee gathers and Quilla is telling Vic to kill them now. The committee votes and Quilla is to be sent to the farm immediately. Quilla's friends are murdered by the committee's muscle one by one. He heads towards Quilla and Vic opens fire on him. He's hit, revealing him to be a robot. Vic and Quilla run with the robot in pursuit. Firing on it some more, he hits its knee where it goes down. Another shot to the back seems to disable it. Vic and Quilla reach the surface. He calls for Blood, but there's no sign of him. He hears a faint voice and heads behind the entrance where he finds the body of Blood. Blood is in bad shape, dehydrated and hungry. He tells Vic he's almost gone and to just leave, find somewhere he can stay alive. Quilla tells him it's too late and they need to go if they want to be together. She tells him she loves him and if he loves her too, he'll go. The screen fades black and we hear Blood's voice. It's morning and Quilla is gone. They've had some food and Blood is all bandaged up. Blood makes fun of Quilla's choice in men as the two laugh and walk off into the wasteland together. Thank you for watching today's video. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe and turn on the bell to be notified of the next upload. Thank you for watching and as always, do take care.